Good morning, good looking people, and you're good looking because you're always looking. And of course, you are finding the good in everything and in everybody. Hope you're having a great week so far. It is the last week of the year, so make sure you're getting it. There's still more time to max out. So today is the 26th of Elul. So today's Hayom, we're going to be talking about steak. I'm kidding. We're talking today about meat and the process of purifying meat. So there's a 3-step process called soaking, then we do salting, and then we do rinsing. And today's Hayom is where we're comparing this process to our divine service. So we'll go through that today. We'll do a little bit of a background. We have a small gematria at the end, and we'll go to the comment. So let's go right into the Hayom for the today. Again, what we're talking about is this process of koshering meat. And in koshering meat, we start with soaking the meat itself. The second part is the salting process, which gets rid of the blood. And then the last part is the rinsing, which rinses the entire meat and makes it ready for eating. So let's read it inside. Today is the 26th of Elul. Today's 3 extra Tehillim are Ayin Vav, Ayin Zayin, and Ayin Ches. That is 76, 77, and 78. To make meat fit for consumption, the forbidden blood must be removed by the following procedure. First, the meat is soaked, then it's salted, and then it is rinsed. The parallels in our divine services are as follows. So soaking, which means immersing oneself in the words of the Rebbe. Salting, which means meeting him at a yechidus. And then rinsing, which means singing a nigun. So let's break this down and go through a little bit of the process. First of all, in 1947, the Frierdiker Rebbe was having a farbrengen where he was giving over Chassidus, at which point he had his eyes closed, he was tearing, and then he went into singing the nigun of the Alter Rebbe, which is known as the Daled Babas, and he sang this song, at which point when he was done, he then made a Hayom and then asked everybody to sing a very happy and upbeat melody. And what he said was that in this process, first he gave over Chassidus, which is the first part, which is soaking. Then the second part he said was singing the melody of the Alter Rebbe. This particular song is like having yechidus. That's how high and spiritual this song was and is. And then he's saying a very happy song at the end, which is the last part of rinsing. And this is the process. The idea is, what is soaking? Soaking is getting ourselves immersed in the words of the Rebbeim, of Chassidus, of the Torah, that we're not particularly picking a certain subject that affects us. We're getting involved in everything. We're trying to get involved in the Rebbe's words and try to affect our own lives. The second part is then salting. What is about salting? Salting is the yechidus part. That's where we go into the Rebbe. That's the part where we get stripped down to the bare bones, where the idea of yechidus is getting rid of this blood. That is the worldly pleasures that are out there, that ideally that we're trying to make ourselves humble, stay more spiritual, and have less involved in some of these worldly or materialistic items. And then is rinsing. What's the process of rinsing? Rinsing is when we rinse the meat, that at this point in time we've had success in what we were trying to accomplish. So we go out and we sing a very happy song. Not necessarily to have our ego up in the air and say, look what I did. But the idea is to be joyous that we've accomplished a part of this process. So let's break down and connect this a little bit to today's date and the Parsha. So we're talking about immersing. All these processes use water. And we talk about that Torah and Tefillah are water. The way we daven and the way we learn Torah, this is compared to water. There are many psukim that relate to it. We see that in the Parsha of the week, which is Hazinu. In the second verse, it says, Ya'aroif kamatar lechi, tizal ketal imrasi, kisir imale desha, v'chirvivim ale esav. And it translates, my lesson will drip like rain, my word will flow like the dew, etc., and raindrops on the grass. That Torah is water. Everything related to tefillah and Torah is water. And water is and this is a very important process. Today is Chav Vav Elul. What's special about the 26th of Elul? We said yesterday, Chaf Hey Elul is the beginning of creation. That was the first day of creation. And what was done on the second day? The second day was the separation between the heaven and the earth and separating the waters. And it's all about water. So today's connection is Torah, is water, the creation of water. And today's gematria for the 26th of Elul, if you actually take Chaf Vav Elul and you add it up, it's the number 93. If you take one of the words that we talked about in the process today, which is malicha, right? We said the first thing is shriya, which is soaking. The second part of the meat process is malicha, which is salting. And then you have adacha, which is rinsing. Malicha, if you take the spelling of malicha, it's mem, lamed, yud, ches, hey. Gematria malicha is 93. That's the connection to Chaf Vav Elul. Now, we've been talking about the last 12 days of the month of Elul compared to 12 months of the year. And again, today, I couldn't find anywhere that had a connection for Chaf Vav Elul, which would be the month of Sivan. So here's my suggestion, and again, it's just a suggestion. If I get it wrong, it is what it is. But I actually got confirmation yesterday from Rabbi Seligson in New York that the first two that I gave for Chaf Hey and Chaf Daled, they're okay. They're not exactly, but they work. So he was happy with that. So for Chaf Vav Elul today, Chaf Vav Elul is relating to the month of Sivan. And what happened in Sivan? Sivan was the giving of the Torah, right? We have Shavuos in the month of Sivan. So today, where we're talking about Torah, and Torah is water, and water is Torah. So the month of Sivan talks about us and is the month that we got the Torah. Have a wonderful day. The message is to immerse ourselves in the Chassidus, immerse ourselves in the words of the Rebbe, and also to be humble, to get rid of some of our worldly pleasures, to make ourselves available to take in more. And then let's rejoice. Let's also celebrate as we're successful in the process, because that is part of the process, right? Rinsing, that last part is about singing a happy song. Have a great week. Have a successful week. We will talk more tomorrow.